Well, good evening, Christ Life Center. This is an important update concerning the future of our church and where we're headed in light and respect of the coronavirus crisis. I'm certain all of you have been glued to the television watching all of the presentations from the president as well as the media. And all of the schools in Dade County have been closed. And as a result of that, the school of Riviera has closed, and we're unable to use the facilities tomorrow, and therefore we've canceled church at the facilities. However, at 10:47 tomorrow, everyone say 10:47, we will have church, and I'll be broadcasting online. I'm working on the broadcast tonight, trying to get everything together. What's interesting about this is maybe some of you don't know the history of our church, but back in 1992, God gave me a vision. I was at the Dadeland Mall parking garage meditating, as I did quite frequently at that time. Now you can't go there, the guards won't let you. And I received a vision, and during that vision, I received a vision of the internet. And God spoke to me very clearly 100 things that would be transformative through the internet. In fact, if you were at the church at that time, you heard me preach for the next 6 weeks on the internet. People thought I was crazy. I then went ahead and proceeded and went nationwide doing conferences with general conferences at huge church organizations, traveling to Mexico and various countries, presenting how the impact of the internet would transform the church. Some of you don't remember, but we were the first church that broadcast live on the internet. And we had a very powerful presence for some time. Things happened, and you know the history, and I'm not going to go into that history. And changes took place, and I was unable to proceed with what I thought the vision was. I didn't realize it would be the coronavirus that would bring the church to the internet on a wholesale level. In fact, it's going to change everybody's life and the way they live. Before I go into that, I want to read out of Psalms 91, a powerful psalm of hope and faith. Psalms 91, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His wings, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, 10,000 at thy right side, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall be no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for He shall give His angels charge over thee, and to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou cast thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet, because He has set His love upon me. Therefore I will deliver him, and I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and deliver him, and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him, and show him my salvation. Powerful, powerful, faith-driven message from King David during a very tragic time and difficult time of his life. Now, I believe, and we have been teaching now for the last several weeks, very importantly, we've been teaching about the book of Daniel and the prophecies concerning the end time. During these last several weeks, I have told you not to worry, but to be prepared. The best antidote to fear is preparation. I told you weeks ago, when this started way back, I said you need to make preparations as if we were preparing for a big hurricane and we were going to have to maintain our lifestyles without the support of anyone outside. In other words, you need to have food, you need to have water, you need to have medicines. You need to have everything you need to self-quarantine at this point and contain you and your family. Now, not to cause fear, but we're in a very, very, very interesting time. Let me read a couple of headlines from CNBC just released tonight. Coronavirus live updates. France closes most stores. Spain imposes lockdown. U.S. restricts UK travel. Another headline from CNBC. Hospitals are canceling elective surgery to make space for potential flood of coronavirus patients. Now you can go CNBC and you can see that that's exactly what's there. But I want to read a couple of things that should trigger some questions. You see, remember, we don't ask the question why. Why is a stupid philosophical question. We ask the question how. How do we respond? How do we mitigate all of these situations that we as Christians are experiencing? Now, remember this. God's kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. I believe everything on this planet that can be shaken will be shaken until the only thing that remains is Christ and his kingdom and him glorified. That's what I teach. That's what I preach. That's what I live by. But ask yourself a very significant question. Are you ready for a potential quarantine in your home for 15, 21 days if needed? If not, I want you to take tonight, you and your family, sit down, take an inventory of what you need to take care of. First things you need to take care of is if you have medicines that should be ordered, order them for 3 months if you can. Get that in advance in case you can't get easily access to those things. Number 2, you need to look at your food supplies. Now, please don't go out and buy a bunch of bottled water. That's silly. If you have tap water, oh, but I don't like the taste of tap water. Okay, then buy bottled water, but it's really not necessary. Your water supply, Dade County water supply, particularly as most people have some sort of filtration on their water, is perfectly safe. What I don't understand is people running out buying tons of toilet paper. Now, if that makes you feel good, go ahead and buy toilet paper. But I do know this, if I'm not eating, I'm not going to need toilet paper. Secondly, if I don't have toilet paper, I still have soap and water. But let me read a couple of the important notes here than CNBC's, where it covers here coronavirus. I just read the headline, Coronavirus Live Updates. France closes most stores, Spain imposes lockdown, and U.S. restricts UK travel. Apple has closed all of their stores nationwide. Tomorrow, what you're going to see is more and more stores closing, more and more restaurants closing because they don't have the customers, because people are not coming in. And you're going to see a continual progressive governmental lockdown of goods and services. This is going to be, as I told you at church, I've told you this at church for over a month now. I've said, watch what's happening in Italy. What's happening in Italy, we were 3 weeks behind. Now we're not 3 weeks behind. We're maybe 2 weeks behind. But what's happening in Italy and Europe is what we're going to be seeing here in America. Don't be silly. This is going to be transferred as far as our lockdowns, our quarantines, and the things that are happening in Italy and France and Europe is going to be being implemented here in the United States. Think about this. From the article on CNBC, global cases, more than 147,000 according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Global deaths, at least 5,539 according to the data from Johns Hopkins. In the U.S., only 2,174 confirmed cases. 47 deaths according to Johns Hopkins. Now, please listen to me. 2,174 confirmed cases. 47 deaths, yet what has happened, we're locking down systematically and very quickly airline industry, travel industry, the cruise industry. We're closing the schools, we've closed sporting events, we've closed concerts, we're closing all these things because of only 2,174 confirmed. And 47? Yeah, we're overreacting. We're doing, think about this. the Federal Reserve pumped almost $2 trillion into the currency system this last week. $2 trillion. Now, the president has given speeches. We've had the CDC and all of this. We are at a point where the government is making changes that you have never seen in the history of this country. They are imposing things and doing things that didn't happen in World War II, didn't happen in World War I, didn't happen when Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Andrew. Remember, even in Hurricane Andrew, we were having the ability to get in our cars and drive if you had gas and fuel. That's not going to be the case. Now, if you remember Andrew, you couldn't go in South Dade County and get goods and services. Think about this being like Hurricane Andrew. You're not able to get goods and services, but you could go to Broward County at that time. That's not going to be the case. This is a nationwide issue. So how do you not have fear? Well, get prepared. And I'm giving you a caution tonight. Make the inventory. Take the next 3 to 4 days. You already are experiencing exhausting lines. You're already seeing things being bought like crazy. And everyone says they're overreacting. Well, I'm not really certain if anyone's overreacting. You have to take care of your family. I have to take care of my family. And you know what? If we don't have those and we're in quarantine and things locked down, my first responsibility is my wife and my children, as well in your home. So whether you want to say it's overreaction or overreach, there's a lot of backstory to this that I'm not going to share with you tonight. But there's a lot of things that you need to think about. But we're spending trillions of dollars, billions of dollars now are being released through Senate bills and House bills. Why? Only 2,174 confirmed cases. What happens when testing comes out in the next few weeks and there's now 1 million confirmed cases and maybe there's 5,000 deaths? You see, those numbers are not significant compared to H1N1 or influenza A. Those numbers were much higher. However, think about this response. Don't be silly. Don't be naive. The government is doing all of these things now with only 2,174 confirmed cases. Why? Because it's very contagious. Number two, it affects a very high mortality rate with those of us who are 60 and older, particularly those who have underlying medical conditions. You all know the story. So you ask yourself, if the government is willing to make these types of moves with the evidence of 2,174 in the United States and only 147,000 confirmed cases worldwide, why would we and our governments and the nation's governments respond like that? There's a backstory the news is not telling you about. We'll talk about that as a family in a very, very near future. But my key to you is, number one, tonight, believe, trust God. Number two, make an inventory and prepare an inventory list of what you can get and what you need, essentials, okay? Number three, when you go out, and if you have access, put on and wear a face mask, and if you can, wear some type of glasses. Someone says, oh, that's silly, that's overreacting. And they tell you that unless you're sick, you don't need a face mask. Well, you see, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I went to Sedona's tonight to get some supplies, which is really a great place to go. I didn't realize that their prices were so much cheaper than Publix. But I went to Sedona's and I went and got some things that Sherry needed in the house. And by the way, Sherry says she's praying for everybody and best wishes to all of you. And keep praying for her and Ricky. Ricky is, still at home, and we're working through that at home best we can. So she gave you her love to you. But I went there, and as I was in line, I was wearing a face mask. I had sunglasses on. Now, I had some people look at me a little strange, but what was interesting, there was a lot of people in the store with masks on. I got into the checkout line, and there was the checkout counter, and there was the lady working there starts coughing. Doesn't cover her mouth, doesn't cough into her sleep. She just starts coughing. Question: if she has coronavirus, and I'm right in front of her, and she's coughing and doesn't cover her mouth, and I am breathing in without some type of protection, without some type of eye protection, and she happened to be infected, and I don't know if she is or not, but when I saw her coughing, I immediately got out of that line and went to another line. Someone says, why are you overreacting? No, I have to make sure I do everything I can to take care of me so that I can take care of my family and be able to be here for you, this great church that we have. So get ready tonight. Tomorrow I'll be giving you more information. I hope this has been helpful to you. God bless you, and it's going to be a fun time, and we're going to get through this. Jesus Christ is still Lord, and for His glory, I believe He's going to use all of these things that are occurring. Remember, God has to shake everything until that which remains is His kingdom. So we're in a shaking process, not just in America, around the world. God bless you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.